Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. And we have a deer in the headlights here. We have Ron McClanahan, my buddy Ron, that some of you have been watching for a long time will remember that Ron was the fellow that was making my deer antler saddles for quite a while. And Ron and I, we actually worked together at Southwestern Bell, seems like 3 or 4 lifetimes ago. When was that even? Was it the 1980s?
Yeah, it was 2000 was my last year.
Oh, 2000.
25 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's true. Now I think about it, it was in the 90s, I guess, that we did most of our work together, and late 90s, and then early 2000s. And I retired in 2001. When did you retire?
Fall of 2000.
Fall of 2000. So you retired before me then?
Yeah, you wrote a song about that. You don't remember?
Yeah, I do remember the song. In fact, I've got a number of requests for that song. Anyway, Ron is here deer hunting, and I spent the whole morning working on the next video. You know, I told you I made it through the first draft of the D28 setup video. And I'll say again, I think it's one of my best videos. I really do. In terms of setup and all that, I really went into a lot of detail and told you why I'm doing stuff. But it took me from about 9 this morning or 8:45 this morning till, what time did we leave for lunch?
About 11:30.
About 11:30. So I was about 11:15, I guess. I was still working on that. In fact, I know I was. It may have been 11:20. Anyway, so that's going to be a good video. I will get that uploaded yet tonight or this evening, and I don't know if I'll turn it loose tonight. I kind of think maybe I shouldn't, because that kind of compete with our live program this evening. And we're going to have Yolanda here this evening, and Tony Smith is going to be here. I think Tony's going to be playing guitar tonight because I asked him to come in and play backup for Yolanda on the guitar. He's a much better guitar player than I am. And I know he can play Crazy, and you know that's the song Crazy, not that he plays crazy. But anyway, so Ron, did you see any deer this morning?
No live ones.
No live ones. I think he saw the remains of the one I got. I put them out there out in the back fields, and then the vultures. And you did see a vulture this morning.
I did,
you said
a black vulture.
Black, and the people are telling us that the black vultures, the ones that have the black heads and everything, that they're not good. And there for a while there was a bounty on them, weren't there?
I think it's open season now in Missouri on them.
Yeah, I think it is. They want us to shoot them because I don't know what the deal is about why they're just must not be non-native here. I mean,
they take down calves and things. They eat things that are alive.
Yeah, apparently there's a lot of them now too. So it's one of those deals where humans have got it screwed up again. You can bet on it. We've screwed up everything when it comes to nature and wildlife and everything. Everything, all the numbers are out of proportion. Nothing works like it should anymore. We've gotten rid of all the predators. It's just a bad deal. And I don't know that we can ever fix it, but we have to try. I mean, the deer population just goes nuts, and then they die because of CWD and blue tongue and all the other diseases. And did you find any with the blue tongue in the creeks and the rivers and stuff?
I've not. No.
You didn't see any? That about, I don't know, it's probably been 4 or 5 years ago when the blue tongue came through. I found, I don't know, at least 2 here on the farm, and found one over in the river, and they're always in the creeks. And then I found one over at Mill Creek over there. It wasn't dead in the river or in the water. Yeah, it's a bad deal. And those diseases that come through, it's mainly because they're overpopulated and they just pass everything on to the other ones because they're so in such close quarters, you know. And that's another thing in Missouri. They've asked us to not feed them anymore, not put out feeders and things because of spreading the disease. So I don't know. But we didn't really have a topic for today because I was so busy working on getting that video out. And anyway, if anybody has, I've got requests for this evening already. I've got Build My Mansion for Dottie. I've got my He Doesn't Look Like Me, the Mirror song for Mr. Nice, and then let's see, The Wedding Band, and Murder on Music Row, and When the Thought of You. I've got that one, and then Deep River Blues, which I haven't looked up yet. I got to see if I can do Deep River Blues, so we'll see if we can do that too. So, Ron, how many deer have you got this year already?
Well, some people are going to think I'm shooting too many. I've killed 5 so far.
Yeah, he's got 5 deer so far. Well, that's not even a good dent in the deer population around here. But Ron does the noble thing. He mostly is providing food for underprivileged and therefore, or people that are in hard straits, So he's been donating most of his meat to good causes, for sure. Ron's one of those good people. He does the nice, good things all the time for everybody. He's always over here helping me, too, and I really do appreciate it. I really do. I've volunteered to help him a time or two, too, but haven't done much for him compared to what he's done for me.
Well, my shop's getting there. I'm going to ask you one of these days.
I'll probably be doing some wiring or something over there for his shop. I did cut him a bunch of lumber, though, for his shop.
Yes, you did.
And I think I did bring my Bobcat over and level out something for
my
your
yard.
Well, your yard and for your daughter, I think it was.
Your
daughter's yard. That was my first outing with my new big trailer, and I kind of knocked over a mailbox. That wasn't the best thing, the best outcome.
We built it back better than it was.
Well, that's good. That's good. I think we'll just go ahead and go through the comments here because I don't have a lot to talk about today. This thing is scrolling on me. I can't. B.H. Ringer's there from Nova Scotia, Canada. See, you're famous all over the world now.
Oh, gosh.
Joe Cool USA, and let's see, Eddie Turner. Gino Hitch says, Jerry and friends, another wonderful day here in Monroe, Ohio. Did the dump truck come out? Well, the dump truck, sad news is I got 3 problems with it, and I'm waiting on parts. I'm waiting on the new water pump, so I can't do much on the dump truck till that water pump gets here. And that'll be here in the next day or 2, I'm sure. There's Kim Z from Arizona. Ronald Todd says, good afternoon, Jerry and everyone from the West Bank of New Jersey. And let's see, Dottie says hello. Fuzzy Russ says, good afternoon, everyone. It's been pretty foggy here in Cedar Rapids for the last couple of days, which I'm sure has put a damper on deer season for a few hunters. Well, that's what happened to me. I was going to go out early this morning, and just about the time I woke up, it was thundering like crazy. And I said, well, I guess I'll just skip it this morning. And I kind of hated it because JR has I told you JR got a big buck yesterday or day before. I forget now. Anyway, it was a big buck, about a 150 class deer. That means like 150 inches of antler, which is big. It's bigger than the ones you see on the wall here. As an example, those ones on the wall behind me there, they're probably in the 130, maybe 140 range. So 150 is really big. Well, anyway, he's got a picture of a deer that was, I guess, at one of his feeding stations or just on one of his deer cameras. And that sucker's at least 160, 170, maybe even 180. It's way bigger. So that's why I should have went out this morning and sat, but I didn't. I was lazy. That's something I don't say very often. I'm usually not lazy. Dottie's praying for us all. Thank you, Dottie. Wayne Blitz says, good afternoon. I hear somebody knocking on a wall. I guess that's Sue next door. I think she's getting ready for our grandson's going to be here in a few days. We're celebrating Thanksgiving this coming weekend because of the boys in Ohio. They're going to be here this weekend. So the whole family's coming in for the weekend then. And let's see. Dottie says, hit the like button. It helps the channel, and I appreciate it if you would do that. Dottie says she's looking forward to tonight's play along. Ain't nothing like good old bluegrass music. Well, I hope it's still good after I get done with it. It ain't always good when I get done with it. Let's see. By the way, Ron, in terms of music, he's not very musical, I don't think, but he did do something with music.
I did.
What did you do once?
I built a mandolin under Jerry's guidance.
Yeah, you did. He built a mandolin, and it's got a instead where I put my rose, he put a deer head, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, and his wife, Denise, plays the mandolin, and she doesn't play it very often anymore.
Nope, she slowed up.
But Ron did a nice job on his mandolin, and it sounds pretty cool. In fact, yesterday or a day before, I got a note from somebody that picked up the Thomas mandolin. And Larry Thomas, if you guys remember, was one of my mentors and helped me. You know, he played banjo on a lot of my recordings, and Larry Thomas built a mandolin under my supervision in the shop also. And a guy sent me a picture yesterday or day before of the Larry Thomas mandolin that he has recently acquired. Larry died a few years back, so I thought that was pretty cool. Also, before I forget it, because I will, I told you I worked on the video today on the D28. Well, that guy got that D28, I don't know, about a week ago, maybe 10 days ago. And he sent me a very nice email, which I did include in the video, so you can read what he said. But basically, he said he was really impressed with the guitar, and that the setup on it was great, and all that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm hoping you'll look forward to seeing that video coming out this weekend, probably Friday night. Let's see. Wavy Gravy says, if you can't write a new song, just rewrite an old one. I just wrote a tender love ballad entitled I'm Looking Over a Four-Loaf Cleaver. A four-loaf cleaver. Let's see. You guys missed your calling. You guys should be in stand-up. Let's see. Especially if you could do those rapid fire. This is really off the wall, but it just reminded me of something that happened to me. I was, Ron and I, we worked for Southwestern Bell, if you didn't know, and I was in the headquarters, so was Ron. And anyway, I was supposed to go out to Oklahoma, and I forgot why now. I think I was training them on our system. It's called BOSS. And Ron worked on Sword, and I worked on Sword later, but I worked on BOSS at that time. It's called the Billing and Order Support System, is what it was. Well, anyway, I was doing training on that around in the 5-state area, and so I was in Oklahoma, and I didn't know, it was the first time I'd ever been there. Well, I just parked in the employee parking lot. I came back out, and my rental car was gone. It was completely gone. And some blankety blank guy in the building had it towed, and of course he didn't have it towed a couple hundred yards away. He had it towed like clear across I guess it was Tulsa, or maybe it was Oklahoma City. I can't remember which town I was in at the time because I was in both of them. But anyway, he had it towed to the farthest extent he could have it towed. And I was so upset and so aggravated, and, just so that night I had to call a cab, and then have a cab take me all the way there to get it, This cab driver changed my whole perspective. He was the funniest guy I've ever heard of, met in my whole life. The whole trip, and it probably took us 45 minutes to get there. The whole trip, he was rapid fire one-liner jokes, just left and right, kind of like these jokes that Wavy Gravy and David Tharp tell, just like that. The whole way, he never stopped. And I was laughing so hard, my guts were hurting by the time we got there. It was crazy. So anyway, there's some very good to be had by this humor that you guys are sharing with us. It can change your whole perspective. Dottie says, Jerry, do you know the song I'm in the Glory Land Way? I've definitely heard it. I don't know it offhand, though. I'll look into that for down the road. Let's see, Bad Nez. That's Mark right there. And I guess Mark might be here this evening, too, since Yolanda's going to be here. Anyway, so Mark, be sure to tell her that I've got somebody that can play crazy, so get warmed up on crazy. Bill Rhodes says, good afternoon. Oop, it scrolled on me again. Let's see. Bruce Ducker, greetings from balmy Central Florida. Dottie says, time to turn the heat on the South Carolina today. Well, I still have my fire going that I started a month ago. Let's see. After we went live, Bill Mumbo's there, Ronald Todd. Now I'm looking just mainly for those question marks. And moving on down. Let's see. It looks like at S. Kotsky, or 54 says, what do you call a deer with no eyes? No eye deer. What do you call a deer with no eyes that is dead? Still no eye deer. Let's see. Bill Webb says, good afternoon. And let's see. Mike Saba says, Jerry, how many deer can you harvest in one season? He's better at answering that than I am. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the rules because I only plan on getting one at max.
If you have landowner tags, they give you 5 tags. It's archery and gun, and I can buy 3 gun tags.
In addition,
landowner.
In addition, so you can get a lot of deer, and it's mainly because there are a lot of deer. Back when I was when I was young, and you could get one deer, and that was pretty much it, And then it started evolving and changing. But yeah, it just depends on where you're at and what's going on. But there's a lot of places you can get a lot of deer, and it's all legal because nobody's hunting them anymore, at least by comparison to the old days. Like Ron and I, he's right here. He knows that on our opening morning, Saturday morning, which normally you should just sound like a war breaking out. We didn't even hear a shot till 7:15. Just nuts. I mean, that's completely opposite of the way it used to be. I mean, by, like if I'm just making this up, but let's say that the shooting time starts at 6. By 6:05 in the old days, you would have already heard 20, 30 shots, by 6:05. Now, we didn't even hear one until 7:15. This is nuts. Just nuts. It floored me. It really did. Let's see. Theron Corbett says, how many deer can you harvest in your area? Okay, that's the same question. We basically answered that one. Let's see. Skotsky 54 says, just don't shoot a John Deere by mistake. Let's see. We could shoot a Jane Doe, though. I shot a Jane Doe on Monday, I guess it was, or maybe it was Tuesday. I don't remember now. Let's see. So that mandolin has real headstock then. Oh, dear. Very good. Very good. Let's see. Richard Polite says, Larry was a great guy. I remember that mandolin. Yeah, Larry Thomas he just was as good as it gets. He really was. He's just one of my favorite all-time people. It was always really good. In fact, I was impressed, to be quite honest. I don't know any other way to put it. I was impressed that he let me come over to his place and practice with him when I was first learning, like he seemed so good to me and so far above my head at the time, and he had all the patience in the world, let me come over there and we'd just jam and have a good time together. It was awesome. And then later he was in my band, which I thought was kind of a strange turn of events, you know. Let's see. Scotsky 54. What's with the advertisement popping up during the vlog? Annoying. Well, yeah, but that's how I make my living now. So, you know, it's not too annoying. Is it? Seriously, that's the way I make my living now. That's pretty much it. And I don't, in case you're wondering, I don't do anything to increase those at all. I just allow them to be there if they are there. But I don't do anything to try to maximize that. In fact, I could. They have a deal on there where you can, choose to have them more often and all this, and I just take the minimum, whatever the, bare essentials is. Mikkel Force says, not that often I catch you live, Jerry. However, greetings from a cold Sweden. Very cool. See? I told you. You're all over the world. In fact, I was watching a video from a guy in Sweden this morning. I was going to recommend it to the guys that like technical stuff. This guy's built his own rock crusher. He's built, I can't remember all the stuff. He, wood, one of those wood processors. He made his own wood processor. Pretty cool. Bajoran or something like that. But he's in Sweden. Very cool videos. I'm up in my cottage. Not much snow, but really cold. Minus 18 degrees C or 04 or 0.4 Fahrenheit, if I get the calculation right. Yeah, I'm not sure what that works out to in Fahrenheit, but I guess that'd be close. And then he says, the cottage is getting warm, though. And then, let's see, Empress John says, hey, Jerry and friends, my grandson thinks that the giant deer you saw as a kid was the last Missouri elk. He said that there were elk in Missouri anyway. Well, actually, there are elk in Missouri now, down by Eminence, Missouri. But I promise you, for sure, 100% for sure, that the deer I saw was not an elk. He was definitely a white-tailed deer, just gigantic. I've never seen anything that's even similar. I've seen pretty much every world record buck there's ever been. I watch for those kinds of things. I've seen them, like in magazines. I've seen them I went and saw the Missouri Monarch in person at the Powder Valley Conservation Area. And I was not impressed because I saw him not too long after I saw that big monster. And I thought, that's a world record? I said, the one I saw was 3 times that size. And he really was that kind of ginormous. I mean, his rack looked like it was that big thick and that big around. I'm not kidding. It's just crazy huge. It was a monster deer. And I don't think there'll ever be anything like it again or since or whatever. And I wasn't the only one that saw it. I mean, other people saw that deer. So, like my dad saw it, my brother saw it, and that old man saw it that told us about it before any of us saw it. And we all thought he was just making it up, But he wasn't. But anyway, it wasn't an elk. I haven't seen an elk live yet. I haven't seen a bear yet. Have you? You haven't seen a bear in Missouri yet, have you?
No.
I saw one bear on the way down to Ava, Missouri, to one of the horse shows, and it ran across the road in front of us. But other than that bear, I've not seen a bear in Missouri. Mikhail Force says, talking about deer, we had great mouse hunting this year. My hunting team got 4 adults and 2 calf full. Oh, moose hunting. That's what it is. It's supposed to be moose hunting, not mouse hunting. Anyway, my hunting team got 4 adults and 2 calf. Full score for us. So that's cool. I've never been moose hunting. In fact, when we were out in Wyoming and going through Yellowstone, we kept looking for a moose. That was the one thing we wanted to see, was a moose, and we never could see one. And then the day we were leaving Yellowstone, as we were pulling out one of the gates, and I think it was the gate up northwest toward Montana, up that way. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, just as we pulled out of the gate, to the left or right, I forget which side, but on the side of the road, there was a moose. And that was the only moose we saw the whole time. Bill Webb says, just for gee whiz information, I just finished up a new song. First song I've written in a few years. It's called Bridges. Now, are we talking about guitar bridges? That's cool, Bill. Glad you're back into it. Yeah, I've taken spells where I don't write anything. In fact, before I wrote, the songs, I guess I really maybe it was last year and this year. Before that, I hadn't written a song in probably 10 years. And Skotsky has to get in on it. He says, Michael Force, you hunt mice? Don't laugh. I used to hunt mice all the time, man. In fact, I'd still do that if I sat down there in the barn with my night vision camera, and if the mouse would have ran out, I'd have shot the sucker with my air rifle, but I didn't see anything. I didn't see any mice. I didn't see any rats, nothing. Which sounds like I'm disappointed. I guess that's a good thing that we don't have any rats down there, but we do. I know we have rats. I just didn't see them. Rob Lee says YouTube Premium, no ads. Yeah, I do have YouTube Premium for myself. I do pay extra for that, and supposedly YouTube, and I guess they do, because I know a lot of people have YouTube Premium. Supposedly, they still reimburse us for the videos that are viewed from the people that have YouTube Premium. That's the way I understand it. I don't have any complaints about YouTube or Google or whoever's paying us, because they seem to do right by us, especially when you consider how many people are putting out videos. It's amazing. Let's see, Bill Mumbo, trouble is they sometimes cut the sound while the ads are on. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Sorry about that. Don Nice says, Jerry, I like your green shirt. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was trying to blend in out there, camel hunting here, today. Let's see. Bill Mumbo says, you probably meant moose. Yeah, I'm sure he meant moose. Let's see. Bill Mumbo, yeah, maybe Jerry forgot to pay the get out of YouTube jail bail money. Yeah, I don't think Ron knows, but they put me in jail, Ron. YouTube did. I forget what it was, a couple weeks ago, or maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago now. I showed my new air rifle. I haven't even showed it to you yet. I showed my new air rifle on here, and I guess because it was on a live vlog, the next day I couldn't put a vlog out. They had locked me up, and then I appealed to them, and I said, I don't feel like I've violated any of your regulations, and they gave it back to me. So there you go. But I was in YouTube jail for a whole day. Let's see. Skotsky says, those had to be huge mouses. Yolanda, there she is. Hi, y'all. Well, Yolanda, you be practicing up on Crazy Girl, because we're going to be doing everybody's been asking for Crazy, so you're going to have to do it. And they also been asking for Blue Bayou, so practice that one up too. Get them practiced, girl. You're going to be on tonight at 7 o'clock. Skotsky 54 says, I wrote a song once about a guy with a steel plate in his head who fell in love with a girl with a magic personality. I call it Stuck on You. Let's see. We see elk quite a bit down here in Arkansas. We even have an elk season. Well, there is an elk season in Missouri now, too, but it's pretty limited because there's not that many elk. But they reintroduced them down around Eminence, Missouri, which, incidentally, is where my dad was from. My dad and my mother, too. I mean, my mother lived on the Blue Springs. And when I say on the Blue Springs, I mean literally on the Blue Springs. She lived right there. They had cabins they managed, and their house was right there. They kept their food in Blue Springs. And if you've ever been to Blue Springs, it's one of the coolest springs you'll ever see because it is real blue color, and it comes out of the base of a cliff. And anyway, my grandpa, and in the song I wrote about Grandpa's old fiddle, I kind of mentioned that in the song. I said he lived on the Current River at the mouth of Blue Springs. And anyway, it's pretty cool. And if you ever do visit Blue Springs in Missouri, now I'm not talking about the town called Blue Springs. I'm talking about Blue Springs on the Current River, an actual spring. And it's a giant spring. I think it's the 8th biggest spring in Missouri. But anyway, if you ever do visit that and you look up on the weeds kind of like to the left as you're going toward the spring, you'll see some old foundations, or you might see some remnants of some old foundations, and that's where they lived. Let's see. Moving on down. Okay, I guess that's it. I don't see any more comments coming in. 100 viewers at the moment. Well, thank you all for being here. I'm going to we're going to call this good for today, and we'll be back this evening at 7 o'clock. I know Ron's anxious to get right back out there and see if he can find another deer, and probably one that he can donate to some needy people. So thank you, Ron, for doing what you do. We will see you all this evening. Take care.